Hi there students, this is a video to help you with your formatting and final submission of your comparative analysis, otherwise known as the external. So just a reminder, on OneNote under topic info you do have the official code that you should save your Word document as, making sure to replace the mock SACE number with your own, but making sure that it is the English code, and this time round AT3, as it is a separate assessment task to the previous ones that we have completed and will complete. Now, in terms of formatting, I want to remind you that within the header it should be Arial size 12, which is stage 2 English, comparative analysis, and then to the right hand side your SACE ID. Although I didn't see this in every draft, that's why I'm making it clear now. You need to make sure that your question, which the moderator will read and will hopefully see an answer made or referenced throughout, should be in black. It should be bolded, size 12, everything with a left alignment, but more importantly, make sure you italicize the titles of your two texts respectively, making sure that it's also properly punctuated. You do not want a poorly grammared sentence or statement as your question, because that's the first thing they read, making sure you actually apply that to, well, the rest of your work. Regardless, we have our introduction. We can see that this is still Arial size 12, left alignment with 1.5 spacing. We have other aspects of, and I'll get to the highlighting in 2 moments, but bottom right hand corner page number, and getting down to the very end, once everything is structured, the word count. Okay. In terms of some of you, and this is up to you whether you complete this or not, I strongly recommend it for those that have used a visual text such as a graphic novel and compared it to a film. But there is the opportunity to show further understanding that won't come at the cost of your word count if you embed or include small screen grabs of the examples that you provide. You do not want more than one for an example. You certainly can't then describe sound. But in this instance, in the first paragraph, we have a book and film being compared. We do not have screen grabs of the book, as that would be pointless. But in this instance, the student wanted to reference how using a low angle, it further reinforces the power that Hartman has over Joker and the other treatment of his men and the threat that he says. And I've highlighted this just to show that immediately after the paragraph, or rather that part of the example is made, we have the example of Full Metal Jacket, low angle from Joker's perspective. Now, there's a few things that I want to address here if you choose to do this. One, you should be using a snipping tool because the size and, well, the format of how your presentation looks will impact the moderator's mindset. And for this, what I've gone and done, if I was to actually ungroup these, I'll just break down my intention here. So I've screen grabbed and copy and pasted the picture, mindful that we would want not a picture that expands the entire page, but I would say roughly aim for 2. I have then made sure up in format that I use the picture border. I add weight to it, 4.5, okay, just to break it up. I then actually go into more lines. I would give it the meter join type rather than the beveled to remain consistent. Apply that to any screen grab that we have. But more importantly, so we actually reference what example we've given without it going over word count, you want to include a caption. Now, we would want to avoid the figure 1, and that's where you can make your own new label. I've actually made one that says Full Metal Jacket, so you would give it the title of the text. You would then hit OK. Oops. And if I'm just going to go back, once the screen grab is placed, it should fit underneath. I would actually then, okay, sorry about that, we're back. So just to clarify, you want to insert a caption, okay, on a picture. And you can include a new label, which you might call, say, for instance, if this was Whiplash, you would name it Whiplash. And I'll actually just demonstrate what it looks like. Position below, you hit OK, it will turn into Whiplash. You can then backspace and delete the number, which is not needed, and then give a description, a brief one. Clearly not something that goes on for 2 sentences, but a statement rather. Center a line, black. And this is just a way to show that visual representation. Now, what I would advise is, one, you want the images to be almost the same size, so you don't have one that is expanding out and looks off kilter. So right click. Once you have two there, which could be both from an example above, example above or below, go ahead and join them together, group them. So right click after you've clicked and shifted on them, group, and then that way they move together. I then make sure that so they move with the text, that it is a tight alignment, okay? And then to make sure that they're in the middle, align, center. So hopefully this has helped. You do not have to do this. Some students, I'm strongly recommending it to support their evidence of visual understanding. Being mindful that, say, for each paragraph, you might have two for the one text or four overall after you've given your two examples. But we'll discuss that more for students who wish to do it. So please be mindful of that. In another report format, if you've decided to complete a report, you need to have your report topic, once again, highlighted in bold, the comparison or compare, name text 1 and text 2 with the correct author and then titles, and where possible, place them in italics. And the same applies in terms of 1.5 spacing. You can use your minor headings of setting and context, okay, but we want to make sure that it's left aligned, and of course the word count at the end. The same could apply for small visual representations whereby you might reference a visual photo or image. You can do the exact same based on the essay regarding the inserting of images, which I'll be checking anyway, but please consider that. And for those completing the interview, the same applies in terms of the formatting with the Arial size 12 font, but instead you want to make sure that your question is placed at the top or statement. You might make up a fake website link or podcast. You want to clarify who the interviewer is, who the author and director, so text 1, and we would actually go ahead and go text 1, text 2. I'll go ahead and bold them. Okay. But more importantly, as you then have a question asked by the interviewer, make sure their name is bolded with a colon. Interviewer asks the question. You have the first person respond, give their name, bold it, okay, space, second person as an interview script would appear. Okay, this should still be 1.5 spacing, all right, to allow the moderator. Word page count number is still there. You still get down to the end of the word count. I've stopped actually the example from here on in just because, well, I think I've made it abundantly clear along with the word count at the end. So that is how I expect whether you're doing an essay, a report, or an interview to be formatted, knowing that the screen grabs are visual, I guess, support material. That shouldn't be overused, but definitely should not be just thrown in there as an afterthought. Thank you.